They've set the standard for precision flying for over 50 years. 6 pilots and 6 Blue Jets, demonstrating the power of commitment and teamwork.
But really, we're not famous for who we are. We're famous for what we're a part of.
The Blue Angel jet paint job, the noise and the smoke, and the name the Blue Angels. It's sort of a magic thing that can happen.
It's phenomenal. It's exciting flying.
Flying that comes together in the demo. 40 minutes of breathtaking, high-energy aerobatics. Training for the demo is difficult. Flying it tests the limits of human endurance.
It never, ever gets old. Nothing beats the demo.
Now's your chance to see the world's most famous air show from the inside, as only this elite team sees it. Get behind the controls for a high-octane, one-of-a-kind experience, the Blue Angels Demo.
Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, your United States Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron takes pleasure in performing for you this, one of our many practice flight demonstrations of the 2004 season.
Over 100 times this year, Lieutenant Justin Otto will greet eager crowds at the start of a Blue Angel practice or performance.
Little drive. Learners ready now.
Moments later, the Blue Jets will take off in fingertip formation and begin 40 minutes of graceful, fast, and high-powered precision flying.
2933. 2933. Allow, sir. Solo, detach. Solo, clear. Smoke off.
The first air show in March wrapped up winter training for the squadron. 3 months of grueling physical and mental work, including over 120 practice flights, are behind them. 8 months of weekend air shows lie ahead. But right now, the team has work to do, refining the season's air show. Formations must be flown tighter, maneuvers executed more crisply. The squadron calls the process whittling away at a block of wood.
Bit by bit, piece by piece, it all comes together and culminates at some point in the year. The light bulb comes on and we'll be flying a really tight, solid, procedurally sound, and safe demo.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing your United States Navy and Marine Corps, the Blue Angels 2004.
Before hitting the road, the team gathers for one last meal in El Centro. Camaraderie is all important to the team's performance. The bonds they've formed during the last 12 weeks must sustain them through a rigorous show season with few days off.
Well, during winter training, we got to know each other very well. The whole team became one cohesive fighting unit.
But as a unit, the Blue Angels are different in one distinct way.
This is definitely the most democratic military organization I've ever been involved with. Here we are all contributors. We all buy into the plan. You're on the road 300 days a year with this team, so you have to have the kind of relationship and the kind of people on board that can get along with each other and do that.
It's like anything in life, it comes to relationships. We are very tight, we get along fantastically. Everyone on the team is just a great bunch. These guys are my friends, and we're sticking it out together.
Yeah, this special trust and confidence I talk about, it's not just between me and the other pilots, it's everybody on the team. That's where it comes together, not just in the flying part of it, but the social part of it, the teamwork part of it, the working relationships. That's where you learn how to do this.
Next morning, the team will fly home to training headquarters at the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida. They'll continue working there on the show, or demo, honing their skills and perfecting the timing of the aerial maneuvers.
See you, boss.
Boss Bartlett, in his second and last year as squadron leader, is eager to get started.
Going back to do this through all the shows throughout the show year is going to be phenomenal. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. Being able to polish the demo rather than learn it, I can't wait to get started. It's going to be great.
Once back in Pensacola, the polishing begins.
Smoke on. ready now. All order.
The maneuvers consist of standard fighter techniques every naval aviator learns. However, in the fleet, they're flown above 30,000 feet. During an air show, the action happens at far lower altitudes, sometimes as little as 50 feet above the ground. For the pilots, each day is a test of physical strength and endurance. But flying the demo at 400 miles an hour and less than 2 feet apart also means keeping mentally sharp.
Just to be able to execute it precisely from day to day requires a level of concentration and precision and consistency more than anything I've ever had to produce in anything in my whole life.
Ready, headed. 310.
You really have to kind of give your own gut check to make sure that you're ready to go and fly in the airplane.
Using a little power, let's ease it out.
And not assume that you're just going to get in there and because of how many hundreds of times you've rolled the airplane to the left that you're going to do it right again today and not crash into the ground.
Helpful.
What I've learned about this kind of flying, it's just a lesson on concentration like I've never seen.
Ready, headed.
If I compare now to day one out here, I really see that steep learning curve. I see the improvement I've done. But then I look from here and I look at, man, 5-6 weeks from now, I get nervous thinking, man, I got a long way to go.
Adding more power.
You know, when we're flying close all the time in the Diamond, we can't move, and if you do, you're screwing your buddy. So right away, you're just focused, intense.
Flying the squadron's signature 4-plane diamond formation is a test of aerial teamwork, skill, and trust. The aim is to appear welded together in the sky, a single coordinated unit. But achieving a tight, solid diamond is only one part of the job. Each team for nearly 60 years has made perfecting the demo its ultimate goal. Bill Newman, boss in the late 70s, explains why.
Well, naval aviation is about flight discipline, and the Blue Angels are really about flight discipline because the mission, flying these maneuvers close to the ground so that people can see the planes and see the performance, is hazardous in its very nature. When you're flying in close formation, everything has to be perfectly smooth, coordinated, and predictable.
You're always going to have baggage and you always got stuff going on in your life. So you got to put everything else aside and you have to go out there and give it 100%. If it was easy, then we wouldn't need to train like this. It's hard, we understand that. And it's just a mindset thing.
See ya, fellas.
Today's demo runs 40 minutes long, and while made up of over 20 maneuvers, still consists of many of the rolls, loops, reverses, turns, and passes that Voris's team demonstrated.
40 degrees.
Maneuvers have been added and dropped, often to suit the planes the squadron flies.
4.5,
Yet, after nearly 60 years and 8 different aircraft, the basic shape of the demo has seen little change.
A few tweaks here and there, but I think we got a pretty solid show. Try to keep it tight and action-packed, so there's not much dead time between maneuvers. That's what we'll work on, is to condense that and make sure it's happening as quickly as we can safely execute it.
Despite the apparent risks they take, everything the pilots do in the air is carefully planned and practiced until it becomes routine. As in Voris's day, Blue Angel pilots are first and foremost combat-trained aviators, knowledgeable in tactics and weaponry. They fly the same type of aircraft as pilots in the fleet. But as Training Officer Dave Varner points out, once in the cockpit of a Blue Jet, the similarity ends.
Here we do some things that normally you don't do in an F-18. It requires a lot of hand-eye coordination, a lot of strength, a lot of focus, a lot of SA.
SA is pilot lingo for situational awareness, being alert to everything around you as you fly the jet.
We're behind the cloud setting up the diamond flight path.
What's going on in your cockpit, what's going on outside, what's going on with the solo, so you become very in tune to anything that's different. Different is bad when you're trying to put a demo on like this and fly that close to somebody. The only way we can do it is because everything is standard.
Ease it out.
The flying, it's nothing like Knuckles and I've ever done, really. It's kind of like relearning how to fly in tight proximity with other jets.
Coming from the fleet, we're thinking more of tactics, of weapon systems, of the new GPS-guided stuff. This is more, it's more for a show. We know the whole thing's timed. It's very deliberate, basic flying and how we look and how, if we can read Boss's maneuver and how he flies and his voice inflections.
A little adding power.
It's very different. It's a totally different type of flying. I'm learning that it's that new concentration, that focus, which is much harder than in the fleet. In the fleet, you'd have that kind of focus to land on the ship. Well, here we got to do it for 40 minutes to an hour. That really tires you out that way.
Okay.
Maintaining that level of intensity is only the beginning. Formation flying Blue Angel style requires that pilots operate in unison, thinking and acting as one. It reflects the discipline that's the hallmark of military precision and starts the moment a pilot climbs into the cockpit.
When you get into an airplane to fly an air show, you go into a different mental state. You close out the rest of the world. You don't feel pressure. What you feel is the immediate flight, the immediate maneuver. And you have total concentration, which is the key to all of this flying. Because you live together, you fly together, and you become really one. And you just have to be that way.
Since 1946, trust has been the bond that holds the Blue Angel Squadron together. And nowhere is that trust more visible than when they fly the Diamond. It begins at takeoff with 4 planes in fingertip formation. The lead jet, Blue Angel 1, is flanked by Blue Angels 2 and 4 on the right and 3 on the left. At liftoff, Number 4 moves into the slot position behind Number 1's afterburners. This trailing close-up view on the formation is one reason why the slot pilot is the squadron's training officer.
And that's kind of my job, to sit back there and really see the small things and piece this entire flight together. It's a little bit of a challenge to objectively teach these guys where they should be to see if we can move up and fly tighter.
A little drive to level.
A tight diamond has been the centerpiece of each Blue Angel demo since the team's early days. It's an example of precision flying that demands complete control and allows little margin for error.
That's what the Diamond does. We're as smooth and predictable as possible, and you got to respect the other guys that you're flying that close with, and you build that trust and confidence, over winter training and throughout the season.
389 fast. Good.
From their trademark diamond formation, the 4 jets transition into other maneuvers. Not all require tight spacing, but as this one with 2 jets flying inverted shows, each has a very real element of risk.
How many further left? A little. We're in a left turn for the Diamond aileron roll.
In the Diamond aileron roll, the jets fly a diamond formation. Then, on command from Boss Bartlett,
ready, hit it.
They spin 360 degrees in unison. During parts of the roll, each pilot loses sight of the other jets, while flying 360 miles an hour and 4 feet apart.